Viewers, you're welcome back to Issues in the News on 9 News Nigeria. We have had in the studio two very powerful gentlemen discussing the state of the nation. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the last 3 weeks, we have had several, some very specific arrests of mighty men in the person of Bawa and Emefiele. Barrister Helsinki, how do you see this?
I've always before this time, for the first time, an activist is calling out for the arrest of a personality as much as the CBN governor. And I supported the DSS when they made an attempt to actually apprehend him and secure a court order during the last Buhari administration. There are dozens of sundry allegations. I've in my past interviews, I've critically analyzed the various allegations against him. They are mind blowing. More importantly, my good friend Honorable Kazura, he was able to share some little reports with me on the need of why we should all join hands together in the civil society and make sure that this Emefiele, or what he called himself, should be arrested. First and foremost, we had a CBN governor who was interested in becoming president, who has one of the largest business empire in the whole of Africa as a CBN governor, who does not even care about the ordinary well-being of how governance and economy of Nigeria should be. We had a very terrible CBN governor in Emefiele who slept in the night and came up with one of the most ridiculous and wicked and evil plan called the Naira redesign.
Are we just discovering that he was terrible?
It's the same APC government. It's the same APC government who furnished him, who garnished him, who peppered him up, who brought him out and gave it to Nigerians as the CBN governor. More importantly, Nigerians have forgotten the past of Emefiele. They should go back and know what happened during the time of Abacha's government. This is Emefiele. I will not want to open old wounds. I will leave it for that for people who are seasoned historians to actually trace the far history. This man had a peculiar character of being a one with very, very funny attitude. And I'm surprised that they left him this long. First and foremost, I want to commend President Tinubu for taking the bold step, seeking legal advice to suspend him and thereafter subject him to interrogation and questioning with the DSS. I believe it is the view of many lawyers that the DSS do not have the powers to question him. I sincerely believe they have the powers to question him. He must be made to account for all his misdeeds and infractions of our different law as a CBN governor. And they should not stop at that of trying to do plea bargain. They should prosecute him to the fullest if we really want healing and economic recovery in Nigeria. He's one of the persons that have brought us this low in this country without no apologies. And I also urge the investigative team, alongside the prosecution team, they should make up a watertight case against him. It should be used as an example so that other students who want to learn corruption, who are interested in being corrupt in the future, they can learn from the Emefiele story and learn to turn and be of good behavior when they're in governance. And more importantly, let's also realize that Emefiele's misdeed and his atrocity for 8 years was under an APC administration. It was not under a Labour or a PDP.
And Bawa?
Bawa also too is also a product of a failing political party like the APC. There's nothing interesting about the APC. They brought Bawa and they told us he's one of the best intelligent officers we have in Nigeria. But they are mind-blowing allegations. More importantly, former governor of Zamfara State actually raised a very damning allegation against Bawa that this is who he is, and this is what he does, and this is what he demanded for. And I'm surprised at that level. There should have been even an inquiry or an investigation as to his activities. Again, I want to commend President Tinubu for taking the initiative to suspend Bawa and subject him to the investigation by the DSS. I want to first of all commend the DSS and also encourage them by this section that they must take holistic step to investigate and bring out a watertight prosecutorial proof against him and charge him to court accordingly. I expect these things to be confirmed within the shortest possible time. So on this aspect, I must commend the Tinubu administration, not the APC. I must commend the Tinubu for taking the bull by the. More importantly, these characters, they have a tendency to also cause problem to the present governor. So it's also a good step for them to have brought these people within their fold and let them account for their atrocity.
Honorable Wosu, what's your take on this?
Well, first of all, you can't reprobate and approbate. In one breath, you say APC has nothing good. In another breath, APC under Tinubu's administration is commendable. We need to understand that we're talking about Nigeria. Micromanaging situations to suit our political leaning is being unpatriotic. What is it that Bauer did? What is it that Emefiele did? Did they hurt APC? Not at all. They hurt Nigeria as a country. And the president felt, well, let these people step aside and let us see. He has not asked them to go, finally. So what we should be doing is interrogating every situation as it comes up. Good that it is still the same APC government that is remedying what some people think we are not done well. So where comes the issue of APC? The truth remains that we have a president today who has determined to take Nigeria to El Dorado. This is somebody who understands what governance is, what leadership is. He saw, even before he took office, the trajectory he wants to lead us through. And that is why today, within a few weeks, leaders of international governments have unequivocally stated that they want to do business with Nigeria. That is phenomenal. Look at what is happening in France. People are falling over themselves. Even African leaders had to go there to hold side meetings with our president. Our image is now shored up positively. Everybody is beginning to see this country is beginning to roar like a lion, the real giant of Africa. So all we need as citizens now is to be patriotic. Give this man the tax, the holiday he needs, so that he will bring out the best in him. Seeing that he is the first person in the Fourth Republic to prepare to be president and has become president. So, Bauer, it is good that he is being interrogated. Emefiele, very good, and it is not anything personal. It is about how come you carried out all these things
I hope
without due process.
As usual. What happened to the Abacha's loot that was recovered?
It's been returned over the last. Abacha's loot started coming in. You need to give people the right information because we're live TV. Through the time of former President Jonathan, I was in PDP then. So these are things we know. That is the question we should ask.
The administration relooted it in the last
during the time of President Jonathan, when it started coming, you have to go back to history. When did the loot of Abacha start coming into Nigeria? And then you know how much came within the period of PDP before Buhari even came to office. We need to go to our DMO office and get the facts. I understand what activism is because some of us were in strong activism during the eras of the military. We faced the bullets of the military. If you are old enough to know when there was the Kaduna massacre, that was when some of our boys were killed in broad daylight. Today they celebrate Tiananmen Square massacre. What happened in Kaduna in Nigeria in the late 80s to early 90s was tremendous. Young people were gunned down, bare-chested, because young students threw out their shares as they're coming out live bullet. Nobody is celebrating it. So I understand the spirit of activism, but in that, we must speak the truth.
I saw a very worrisome video on the social media of the dollars recovered from Emefiele's apartment or one of his houses. I don't know how true this is, but it was on the social media, and I'm beginning to wonder that the owners of these dollars, do they have access? Do they have as much as this? What's going to happen now? The monies have been recovered or has been taken to a place. I hope, will it be swept under the carpet as usual?
The thing is, we'll have to be holistic in these things we are doing. We have to be holistic in these things we are doing. Uh, Imefele, from my own estimation, and from Honorable Kazura's analysis of what happened to our stamp duty and a lot of things in the CBN, I think it is actually one of the most atrocious corrupt practices in this new
Sad.
century.
We're going to deal with the MFLA issue.
Sad.
President Tinubu is going to shock Nigerians. He has started.
Let's
Let me tell you,
let's
everybody will sit up. Remember that this man brought the greatest reform in the judiciary of any state when he was president. He asked his then, when he was governor, thank you. He asked the immediate former vice president, who was his attorney general, to deal with the judiciary, and he dealt with it and reformed it. He is coming with it at the federal. So let us give him time, let the attorney general of the federation come on board, and we will see that those people who are being prosecuted, they will pay for whatever thing they have done that is wrong. So it's not going to be swept under carpet at all, not under the watch of this president.
Thank you very much. Barrister Samuel, the court case of the Labour Party and the PDP, how reliable is the court to douse the notion behind the goat court syndrome, thereby allowing justice to play out?
You know, when we said it here, the last interview was said here,
yes,
has everything not played out. Every single thing I said legally here, I was called names. I was even called to have even been paid by the APC. Just because from a standing of years of doing election matters, I actually explained it to him. I said it here the last time. I said this issue of double nomination, no political party have the local standard to challenge Shettiman's double nomination. I said by the new electoral act, it's the same aspirants with Tinubu who contested the same presidential. And what did the Supreme Court say about the double nomination some weeks back? And they said no. The PDP does not have the local standard. I mentioned the issue as to non-compliance with the different and what is playing out. And so I would not want to, anybody who has not looked at it, to go back to my last interview I did on this platform and adequately watch it to know. I already have a premeditated mind, my own opinion on how, my own analysis on the different parties petition that have been presented. But I want to say something is that we should not lose hope in the judiciary. The judiciary still remains the last bus stop of the common man. It remains the only thing which seems to be working effectively in Nigeria. And I have grievances with the last election. My own personal opinion, I sincerely still believe, on the strength of the decided case in Buhari versus Obasanjo, for a person to emerge as a president in Nigeria must score 25% vote cast in the FCT, alongside with the other two-third states in compliance with the provisions of the Constitution. The word FCT, it is not specific as other scholars might want it to be. It is different from the status of the other states. So the word there is the interpretation in the ordinary and literary meaning. And the interpretation the Supreme Court gave to the Buhari versus Obasanjo's case is that the person must have scored 25% of the vote spread in the FCT alongside, which in these instances, both Atiku Abubakar and Tinubu did not score. So I wonder on what basis the INEC declared anybody winner. But it is sub judice. It is before the court. Probably the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal will rule and will learn from that. However, I wish all parties who are the election tribunal, I wish them luck. And I pray they have been fair. They have all stick to the rule of law by approaching the court to ventilate their grievances over the election. I wish them luck and we expect to hear the judgment soon.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Mosu, before I get your opinion, let us call on the Labour Party spokesperson, Chief. Viewers, please stay tuned. We're still live here.
To copy this tune, press.
We are calling on Chief Patrick Ehoro.
How are you?
Good day, sir.
Yes, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. My name is Nsidwe Udoite from 9 News Nigeria again.
Okay.
All right, sir. And one question for you. The court cases between the Labour Party and the PDP, how reliable,
APC.
how reliable is the court to douse the notion behind the go-to-court syndrome, thereby allowing justice to play out?
Well, like I've always said in my own opinion, we INEC has failed us. The police and the...
You said INEC has failed us?
Yes.
So it seems that the judiciary is on trial. So let us see what happens, because the both sides have presented their evidence. You also saw the person who testified behalf of the Amazon. So it's quite interesting. I still believe and hope that there will be men of courage who will look at the evidence before the court and see the premium fabric and come out with a good sense of judgment, because we have no other country. Nigeria belongs to all of us. The people have spoken, so let us see what the judiciary will do when it comes to delivering the judgment, So I am very optimistic that they will do the right thing.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been wonderful having you here with us. Honorable Wasu, please, what's your take on this?
Well, a couple of people who speak to these issues have never contested elections and they've never approached the tribunal. When I ran for election and I won my election and I felt it was not properly done in 2011, what I did was not to beg INEC to give me evidence. The moment you see a political party or a candidate saying that INEC is refusing to give them evidence to go to the tribunal, it means they don't have anything to challenge in court. And that's what you're seeing. Absolutely. What you need to prove your case in an election petition are those results from the polling units. And if you truly contested the election to win, the first thing is that you must have polling unit agents. When these people who are a bunch of noisemakers masquerading as obedience started their noise about they will win election, the question some of us asked them was, do you have polling unit agents? And most of them laughed and said, you don't need polling unit agents to win election. How naive. Now today you want to go to the tribunal and tell INEC, please give me material to go and work against you because INEC is the neutral umpire. You want INEC to come and side you. INEC is not supposed to side anybody. You have the results from your agents. Present it. And the tribunal will have no issue than to declare you the winner. These people know they did not win election. The results were there for everybody to see. They are just trying to...
That some were mutilated.
It's okay, very good. Did you see so many of them that were mutilated and written against APC, especially in the southeast? I'm from Anambra State. One of my key leaders in Anambra State was killed because he stood his ground and said, we cannot do this against APC. They killed him and covered him with APC flag. Life story is my friend. I'll show you after this his picture where we took pictures before the election. So when people are talking on social media, just look at them. These guys did not win the election and they know they can't prove anything. Trying to whip up sentiment so that when the tribunal announces Tinubu as the winner, they will go to town and say, hey, they have manipulated. It's just what they are beating about the bush to do. We want Nigerians to understand the truth. If you think you won election, don't wait for INEC. Call your agents together. Get the results that INEC issued at that polling unit and you get your answer.
Get response from INEC.
No. There's no problem with that. But I'm just saying that if actually you are complaining about INEC, it means that you are not ready to prove your case because INEC is supposed to be a neutral umpire. The way INEC treats you is the way INEC will treat APC.
Yes, let me quickly respond to that in just 1 minute. 1 minute. Under the Electoral Act, there are different Apple provisions that it's even an offense when INEC has been subpoenaed to produce electoral document for them not to produce electoral documents in court. I'm involved in this election tribunal in different states, not just Katsina State. I'm involved. And it's now even becoming a problem for the APC now. Because in some instances where they are challenging the victory of the Labour Party or other political party, INEC is not even cooperating by producing these materials. There seems to, so we must hold INEC very accountable. We cannot continue like this. INEC is not a law to itself. If you said you have done an election, give these materials on due certification and payment of the requisite fee. Give them to these political parties to produce their case. I was at the tribunal yesterday. INEC could not produce documents again.
I hear they say they
And it's going on and going. That is the narrative they keep giving.
So why go to INEC when you have your material?
What I'm saying is this: is that it is a law, it is statutory that when INEC has conducted election, it is against the principle. It is in support of the principle of fair hearing. You must give parties documents from EC9, from ECG, from whatever forms. You must give political parties and their candidates documents you use for them to conduct their cases.
Assuming without considering that you couldn't get it, what do? Take the one you have and go to court.
If you don't have any.
They have. They have.
It is settled. Once a law has stated a particular manner of doing things and what should be done, it must be done. A non-compliance of it is contempt and disobedience.
Electoral matters are sui generis.
They are sui generis.
Yes, so you're quoting the general law. No. We are coming to tribunal. I have gone to tribunal. Anybody that loses in tribunal did not. No, it is still today. It's still today because the courts have not voided the fact that you need the polling unit results.
Documents you intend to use. INEC is under a legal obligation. It is under a legal obligation.
Are you not supposed to have your polling unit results?
Even if the polling officers, they don't have it in their custody.
Some places they said they were denied.
It's not true. Everybody has agents. Your agents must have the polling unit results.
Under the new Electoral Act and the INEC guideline to produce this document.
It's compulsory.
It's not compulsory.
It is, unless you did not run for election.
There's no section under the Electoral Act.
Then you didn't contest the election.
I don't need to contest.
I'm telling you that anybody that wants to go, several senior advocates have said you cannot win electoral matter if you don't have your results from polling unit.
Agreed.
Till tomorrow, it is there.
If you want to prove an election petition, you must call, and when you call, you know, basically, as I said, there are 3 grounds for contesting election petition under the new Electoral Act.
Yes, you said that in our last interview.
Yes, you want me to repeat it? By reason of qualification, by reason lawful majority of cast, then by reason the elections were invalid, by lawful practices and otherwise. These are the 3 grounds, and they are distinguished. INEC is under a statutory obligation. It is a law.
Why has the law not, been able to tell them to produce?
It is elections matters.
The chairman was open in the tribunal, and he presented those documents.
Oh, he did?
Of course.
No, he didn't produce the actual narrative of what happens. I have friends at the election tribunal because I'm busy in other tribunals. The actual narrative, they produce an affidavit before the court that they will produce the document on payments by Labour Party of the necessary logistics and fees. The thing about INEC is a rogue institution as it stands today. And if there's any reform that should be done, it should start from INEC before it goes to other agencies.
Okay, let's leave that for now. Thank you very much. What's your take, Honorable Wosu, on the increment of wages of National Assembly members, governors, while the minimum wage is still pending?
Well, I think it is sardonic, it is wicked, it is satanic for anybody to propose such humongous increase of over 100% for people who do relatively no job other than sitting a few times in a week and then go for holiday the rest of the months. As a matter of fact, I know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not stand with that proposition, because it's not coming from the government, it's coming from the agency in charge, that is the mobilization and physical allocation. So it's a proposition they have made. I know that President Tinubu will not go for it. The first thing that he wants to do now is to see how to cushion the effect of the deregulation in the power sector and all that. So Labour is discussing. Labour has said we want 200%, 200,000. minimum wage. We know it's ridiculous. It's not something that we can handle, but we know that there has to be increase. And then some other things that will help the private sector too. That is what the government should be interested in, not anything about the lawmakers who are already going home with humongous amounts for doing little or nothing, I repeat. And again, I know within this system, President Tinubu, being a maverick politician, will find a way for us to stop this bicameral legislation.
Okay, Barrister Hesenke, what's your take on the increments of wages for governors, National Assembly members, while the minimum wage for the ordinary Nigerians is still on hold?
I still repeat my same opinion. The APC is a satanic institution.
Does it have anything to do with the APC?
Unfortunately, the same people in RMFSC,
Yes.
mobilization, were there before APC came.
If it's a serious-minded government, and as soon as they hear these hints and investigations are done that there is a purported attempt to increase these people's salary, they should sack RMFSC. Yes, they should sack the board and put in a board who actually look. It's very appalling that we are at this stage. That where the ordinary Nigerian, we are
Daily feed.
minimum wage is nothing to me. It can.
Let's allow the president to take a decision, then we can
so
comment
I will leave
on
it
this.
at that. I will agree with him in part. Let's give the president time. Let's see. But the presidency, another thing you should give to them, they've come and disputed it that is impossible. So let's believe them. Let's believe them for now.
Time is fast spent. Quickly, what do you have to say about the student loan?
The student loan is a very welcome development. I've seen some people
It's
who
not a scam?
castigate it. It can be a scam. Tinubu
The
promised it.
prerequisites?
It's part of the Renew Hope manifesto that we campaigned on, and he's living up to it. Watch out. I ask Nigerians not to listen to what people say on social media. The thing was well thought out, and is going to take a lot of indigent students to the best schools
Well,
in this country.
the conditions.
The conditions are things that people don't even know. They just read on social media. I urge us to please find out the correct conditions, and you will see that it will favor the indigent. It is not meant for the elites. It is meant for those children who are hawking to go to primary and secondary school. How do they go to university?
They repay the loan?
The repayment is when you graduate, you will begin to pay. This was done in the 70s
What if
and early
the government
80s.
employ them? What, because
Of
we see
course.
unemployment
Can't you
being a
see
problem?
that the robust economy the man is about to build will open up employment opportunities? In the early 70s, some of you were not born. In the early 80s, that was the situation in Nigeria. People went to school and they would come out, they get job, and they begin to serve government. It's not rocket science. It happened here. So many people alive today benefited from it. And this man is bringing out the good old days. I understand the young people who never experienced such. They will say, it's not possible. There are people who enjoyed it and they are here. Just be patient and you will see in the next 6 months to 1 year, lots of indigent students will begin to come out to testify.
Okay, very quickly, Barrister, the student loan.
If that student loan bill, I heard it has been passed. If it is not sent to the National Assembly for amendment, that will be one of the most notorious and wicked and satanic law that Nigeria has ever had. Where do you expect a low-income owner of 200,000 to bring a guarantor of either a judge or a director in the civil service?
There are people that don't even earn up to 200,000 monthly.
Where?
No, you don't need to earn. He said if you earn above 500,000, then you don't qualify. It is for low-income earners.
So
What his problem is, where do you get a director as a guarantor?
A guarantor?
I can tell you that it is very easy. A lot of you people who say you're activists, what is your job? Some of us, we willingly get people to guarantee for anybody who needs that
How
loan.
many people are directors in the civil service?
The
To
point,
guarantee all?
the law did not
How many
do,
people
it's
are
not
judges?
exclusive to one person
That bill
guaranteeing
is
one
basically-
person.
Let me conclude with it. That bill is to reward APC members who helped them to campaign during the last election.
How is that?
That is what that bill is meant to do.
How is that?
It is not meant for the ordinary Nigerian.
That is a
I will
huge
stop at that.
allegation. You can't prove that.
Viewers, we can go
I
on
will
and
stop
on,
at
but
that.
for time, it's really been a wonderful time.
Thank you so much.
you for
Thank
having
you
us.
so
I appreciate
Viewers,
it.
thank you for staying with us. Please contact us on our social media handles there and stay tuned. until next time, we will bring you this topic, the same station, issues in the news on 9 News Nigeria. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so
Thank you so much, viewers.
Thank you so much.